G'day guys, welcome to another edition of Quick Clips with Chris. In this week's edition, we're going to take a look at the Gobi-X rear bumper. So why a back bumper on your 4x4? Well, these rear bumpers come with a number of features and benefits. My personal favorite being the ability to put a spare wheel on one of the carriers. This means instead of the wheel being buried under the vehicle, you pop it on the carrier, and in the case of a puncture, it's much easier to get to the spare and do a quick change. Furthermore, what these accessories allow for or do are to protect the back of your vehicle a lot better than the OE bumpers they come out with. And as well as that, they also improve the departure angle by being a little more raised than the normal low-slung tow bar you get when you buy the vehicle. Now let's take a peep at some of the other features. So the first feature we're going to look at is the integrated recovery points. The recovery points form part of the chassis bracket, which is bolted obviously directly onto the chassis and allows for a very, very strong straight line pull without doing any damage to the chassis or the bumper itself. Right next to the recovery point, we have a cutout over here, which is there for high lift jacking. The high lift jack clips into that point and it ensures that you can safely jack the vehicle up. All the Gobi-X bumpers come with a removable tow hitch facility. So the center of the bumper's got a receiver section in it, which takes one of these removable hitches. And next to that, we have an integrated trailer plug, which protects the plug off-road. Needless to say, if you're going off-road and you're not towing anything, it's very nice to be able to leave these at home. All the bumpers also come with a beautifully bright LED tail light, an aluminium tread plate on the top to protect it when climbing on and off the bumper when you're trying to get in and out of the back of the vehicle on top of the roof rack, as well as a very durable black powder-coated finish. The final feature we're going to take a look at is the ability of these bumpers to take carriers. As you can notice on this bumper, we have two carriers on here, and we're going to nip outside now, even though it's the middle of winter, and go and take a closer look at these in action. Okay guys, we've popped out to one of our local trails to take a look at what one of the Gobi-X bumpers looks like on a vehicle. Here we've got one of the units on a Toyota Hilux. This bumper's been in the vehicle for 4 years now, done many thousands of kilometers off-road. And you'll notice, even though it's a bit dirty from the mud coming up here, the coating of the bumper itself is still in very good condition, and that's due to the powder coating process that it went through after manufacturing or during the manufacturing process. You also may notice a few changes on this bumper, like the high lift jacking points, for instance. Gobi-X does development all the time, and as we learn new techniques, etc., we change things. So this is a 4-year-old version 1 bumper, and we're probably at about a version 5 at the moment on this particular model. Next up, I'm going to open and close the spare wheel carrier and the jerry can holder to give you a quick look at how those work. As mentioned in the studio, Gobi-X do a number of different versions of carriers for their rear bumpers. On the Hilux here, we have a spare wheel carrier on the right, and on the left, we have a single jerry can unit with a high lift jack bracket on it. I'd just like to run through very briefly on how these open and close, because it's a very simple action, which works very, very well indeed. We've got a clasp handle that gets pulled down, a secondary lock at the back, and the carrier opens very carefully and is supported by a gas strut on the inside. And that gas strut there stops the carrier from closing until once again you're finished and you want to close up. Put a bit of pressure on it. Make sure the lock falls in place. And there you go. Secure, ready to go, very simple action. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Quick Clips with Chris. If you've enjoyed it, please hit subscribe below, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers. Sorry, Mavis, I know we're not doing the bull bar today, but what do you think of the aesthetics of the Gobi-X rear bumper on our Hilux? Mavis, I'm watching Mavis slowly be creeping the Gobi-X rear bumper to have a closer look at the aesthetic lines of this beautiful piece of 4x4 accessory. Mavis?